Kiwi actor Sam Neill has voiced his support to change the date of Australia Day, which is celebrated on January 26. The 74-year-old Jurassic Park star penned a candid post on Instagram on Wednesday, saying that he completely understands how offensive it can be if you're Indigenous. Underneath a picture of the Aboriginal flag, Sam said he understands why some people call Australia Day Invasion Day. This great flag. Now free. This day. Well, every nation needs a national day, I guess. A time to come together and reflect, he began. But January 26? After 65,000 years of history, they choose to commemorate a day about 250 years ago, when the British unceremoniously dumped a bunch of white fella convicts on what is now Sydney. He added, "It's absurd. And I completely understand how offensive that can be if you're Indigenous." Given what followed, he finished, "No wonder some call Australia Day, Invasion Day." The likes of actress Rebecca Gibney and Moff star Connie Graydon liked his post. Australia Day, held on the date British Royal Navy vessels raised a Union Jack at Sydney Cove, called Warren by the Aboriginal people who fished and lived there, remains divisive among young and older generations. Millions of Australians flock to beaches, backyard BBQs, and pubs on January 26 with flags draped over their sun-soaked shoulders to mark the national public holiday. But for the country's first inhabitants, the date represents the beginning of the painful and devastating impact of colonization on their culture since the first British fleet sailed into Sydney Cove in 1788. A recent survey by Core Data found a generational and gender divide among Australians over the significance of the day and its position in the calendar. The research consultancy asked whether people planned to celebrate, whether they supported moving the holiday to another date, and how their opinions had changed in recent years. Overall, 54% of respondents said they planned to mark the occasion, with 30% saying they would be celebrating the history and achievements of Australia and 15% just because it was a public holiday. More than two-thirds of respondents aged 26 and under say they won't be celebrating on January 26, with just over 30% saying they will. But more than 80% of them support moving the date for the sake of improving relations with the Indigenous population, as do more than 70% of those aged 27 to 41. Support for change dropped among older respondents, with just over 30% of those 56 to 75 and 25% of those older supporting a change in date.